I am 38 years old. I'm a gynecologist and an infertility specialist, but I would say that's like my part-time job. I run a small NGO called Smriti for, Save the Girl Child Awareness and Environment. I have been born and brought up in Agra. It's a small town, but very famous for Taj Mahal, but otherwise it's a common tier 2 city where, people are very, very different from metro cities. I have been schooled in Agra. My college life was in Wardha, which was another small town which is near Nagpur. It's like 2.5 hours from Nagpur. So one small town to another small town, and they have been both very, very different. Journey has been actually wonderful. When I was being brought up, I had a very different journey. My grandmother actually never used to differentiate between, a girl or a boy. So me and my brother were brought up equally. If I can cook, he can cook. If I can change the puncture of my car, he can do it, So it was not like कि ये केशव कर सकता है, ये निहारिका नहीं कर सकती है. And I was brought up like a boy. My grandmother was very, very specific, that till 12th standard, you need not come into the kitchen. Go enjoy life, go study, go dance, go do sports. So I was someone who was doing everything, not just studies. I was never pushed for my studies. I would say like an average or more than an average student with 85% in my subjects, but I could swim well, I could dance well, I could do all extracurricular activities because that was the environment which was brought upon me. So my dadi actually played a very important role in my life in shaping me the way I came to. And then the second important person was my father. So once my father is like a go-to person, and I am someone who can talk about anything to him. He's also a gynecologist. My grandmother was also a gynecologist. I would say I'm like the 4th generation of doctors in my family. And I run a small hospital called Malhotra Nursing and Maternity Home, which is now celebrated its 66 years of service to Agra. So it's been a beautiful journey there also. I never wanted to become a doctor. So if you ask me that, it was funny that so many generations of doctors around me. Slowly, when I started understanding that I was born in a platter, I might as well use it. People say, there is that, oh, you had it easy. It's never easy for anyone. I think when you have some kind of advantage, you have to work more harder for it. And that's what happened with me. I had a very tough graduation and post-graduation because people used to think that I'm born to doctors and I'll know it all or I'll have it easy. So my journey had more of ragging, more of night duties than others. But then that also had an advantage that I could do more of my work and I was perfect in what I was doing. So it did balance away, and it never made me upset. It actually made me stronger. And that's when I realized I have to do something apart from what work I'm doing, because when I'm brought up in Agra, I would always feel that my grandmother used to take us on all our birthdays to orphanages and old age homes, and we would celebrate our birthdays there. And somehow that always struck a chord in me that I have to do something somewhere to make people smile around me. And that's when our NGO came into picture, and I started working in it in 2008. And our first aim was to educate girls, because we've seen that education in girls is falling behind, and especially in smaller cities, girls get married very early. And as a gynecologist, it's painful for us to get pregnant patients under the age of 18. It's actually horrifying for them also to go through that stuff which they're going through. And that's how we started our NGO, giving free education to 10th till 10th standard to all girls in Agra and nearby cities. Then slowly, once this NGO started doing up, we had a lot of people joining us. We started working towards environment. So we adopted, small gardens in Agra, small those roadside crossings where you have small areas which are not kept well, and we adopted those and started growing trees there, and then doing awareness drives. Like from every 1st January, we run a 2-kilometer walk with girls who we've given free education in school. So around, we have now more than 6,000 girls under us. And, we walk those 2 kilometers with slogans, making people realize the importance of education for girls. And then we, on that path, we start planting trees with those girls. So we are also working with towards sensitizing people towards the environment, which is now very, very important. And that's how I've grown, from 2008 to now. And now I'm the director of this NGO. That time I was just a small part. So now permanently shifted base. I got married. I have 2 small children. One is a 7-year-old girl, and my son is 2 years old, just turned 3 a week back. So that has been a personal milestone. My son was a premature baby. So, as a gynecologist, I had a premature baby of 1.4 kgs. And, that journey also actually changed me so much because of those. That time I actually understood what a mother feels when your child is in the hospital, so that made me sensitive towards all pregnant patients much more. So fondly now people have started calling me Dr. Didi. So they don't call me by my name. I'm actually referred to as Dr. Didi. And whenever people have any personal issues also, or they just want to chit chat, they'll just call Dr. Didi, can I come over for chai? So I'm more of a, not just a doctor, but maybe a companion who can guide them on difficult paths they're having or difficult journeys which they are facing. And that's how I've shaped my life around. And I think I have done well. So when we talk about milestones in my life, I am currently the youngest chairperson of FOGSI. So FOGSI is an association which is Federation of OBGYNs all over India. And we have around 38,000 gynecologists which are members of this organization, where we work towards women's health academically and also bring in new innovations in improving their health. So FOGSI works on different aspects, and they have like a president, 5 vice presidents, and then 27 chairpersons. So I'm one of the youngest. I became the chairperson of the Young Talent Promotion Committee when I was at the age of 35. And most of my seniors were chairpersons that time. But somehow when I was chosen for this job, I thought I was perfect because first of all, I'm young, so I have younger ideas. Secondly, I could get a lot of youngsters into the organization, which were, far off and not. So I acted like a link between the organizations from seniors to youngsters. And that's how these past 3 years I've been the chairperson, and I've had a team of 60 youngsters from all over India who are under the age of 40, working under me on public awareness in women's health, cervical cancer. We have done a lot of work on Dhira. Dhira is a FOGSI initiative on say no to violence against women. And so that's what we're working on for the past 3 years. We've promoted cervical cancer vaccines all around and educating and sensitizing women to get their children vaccinated, especially for cervical cancer, because that's one vaccine which can actually prevent cervical cancer for up to 99%. So why not go for it? So that's actually has been one of the most important milestones professionally. Personally, I would say I am a working mother of 2 children, and I've thoroughly enjoyed. I have a beautiful daughter, Nirali, who's 7 years old, and my son is Navkar, who is now turned 3. Both of them, touchwood, are doing well, and they understand that I'm a working mother, but I actually have struck that balance. I think I've understood that my work and my children are my equal responsibility, and that's how I prioritize my life. It's so important as women to strike that balance between work and personal life. And it's never easy, but I think it can easily be done if we know how to prioritize. So my weekends are for my children, my weekdays are for my work and my NGO, and that's how I try and balance them. I am a single mother now, so I've been going, it is a difficult journey when you get separated, and that was a difficult step which happened. I had a love marriage for like around 9 years back, and somehow things didn't work out, and we went our separate ways. So that journey has been something which has made me a little, I would say, taken me a few steps backwards, but I'm coming back to it now. And my children also now understand, and they're in that phase that they understand that we are a single parent family. And slowly, this step also made me realize that I have to create awareness around schools and colleges for single parents. So, my way forward from this lesson learned in life is that I would like to now work towards a single parent community in smaller cities, because I know metros, Bombay, Delhi has that community, but smaller cities don't understand it still, and people are not very sensitive towards the children of single parents. And that's my next training. I'm now doing also a diploma on grief counseling, and I want to go ahead and do workshops in schools to make teachers sensitive towards single parent children. And that's one thing I really want to do ahead, and maybe in the next few years you're going to see me there. So, from the beginning of when I remember, my father and my mother have been someone who've always pushed me to do better. They didn't know swimming, but they made sure that I learned swimming. They didn't get opportunities to learn dancing or professional dancing. They made sure I got that opportunity. I had all my paths opened. I could choose whatever I want to do. And that, I would say, I was privileged enough to get that opportunity to choose what I wanted to do. And I feel blessed about it. So when I started thinking about becoming a doctor, which came very late in life, because I always used to think that doctors work very hard, and I used to see my parents missing most of my parties, or most of my parent teacher meetings. And that's when I felt, oh no, I don't want to do all that. Then slowly, when I started growing up, I realized that this is one profession where I can give it personally and professionally. I can do it for my family, I can do it for others. And this is one profession where you can actually do whatever amount of social work you want in whatever way possible, because it's open to everyone. A free health checkup is something like which can be easily done by any doctor anywhere, and it won't cost you anything. And somehow when I talk about doing something, it was my dadi who used to tell me ki you are blessed with everything, you have whatever you want, and it's now your time to give to other people. And that's what struck inside me, that I am born to give to other people because I've got more than enough. And that's how that journey went ahead. And my father was someone who would till date has never said no to anything I've asked for, even if I feel maybe after a few years that, oh, that was wrong. So something he tells me that you will learn your lessons your way. I can only tell you from my experience, but he's lets me grow and grow through my lessons. During profession, because my parents are gynecologists, so I had that little upper hand. I was trained by hand by my father, and my father has been the president of a lot of organizations in India. He's head FOGSI, ISAR, and these are organizations which are doing big things for women's health. So I was trained by hand, and every suture which I tie is because my father has taught me. Once I entered my medical college, I had done most of the surgeries under my father's guidance. So, uh, that journey, he made it easy. I would also tell you one story which I remember. So, most of our post-graduation exams are very tough. MD exams are so tough, and the course is so vast that it gets scary. And I would tell you, my parents are working parents, and we run a hospital, then they're heading organizations. So they're busy people. But when I had my MD exams and I started getting nervous about them, I would have never thought, but my father came and stayed in my hostel, in that dirty hostel, for 25 days till I had my exams. He left everything, his practice and all, and he was like, no, I'm going to stay with you. I'll just feed you chai, cold coffee, or whatever you want. And that was something that struck with me. Even working parents understand when your child needs you, and how important that step of his has actually shaped me now, because I topped my medical entrance. I was a gold medalist, and I owe that gold medal to him, because he would tell me stories. He would not read the book, So I'll give you a story. You know how Taj Mahal was built. So the Taj Mahal was built for Mumtaz Mahal, and she died of postpartum hemorrhage. So postpartum hemorrhage is something which happens when you have had multiple children and the uterus does not contract and there is excessive bleeding. So that story came into my medical studies, and he was telling me about postpartum hemorrhage, and then he bought Taj Mahal in it, and he would actually make stories around my studies and help me go through those tough exams. And that's what inspired me, and I actually want to become like him, and I'm trying to become like him. That it's so important to have those small supports when you need around you. And my hostel was so dirty, you can't imagine. College hostels are so dirty. And I could have never imagined he would leave everything and come. I could have never done, but it was crazy, and I can never forget that. I've also had a lot of support from my friends. I have few friends. I'm a very closed person. I would say that I'm a people's person when needed, but for my personal life, I have a very small circle. And this small circle of friends also has been a blessing in all my tough times. And I've really realized it that any relationship is two ways. So if I'm asking to them for help, I'll be there when they need me. My friends have flown from London whenever I've needed them. So it's that close a circle which we have. And I'm thankful for that. And I know that whenever they'll need me, I'll also go and fly and be there for them. So that's been the journey. And when you have people around you to support you, I think you can reach places. But you have to also understand that who you want around you. It's those people who actually spread those good vibes and understand that you need to grow in that phase and give you that space. So that's also very important. So when we talk about, people, to have people who love around you, I've been actually blessed, and I have had that strong, silent support from my mother, who's like a big rock in my journey, and also my brother. And I think that's what has pushed me forward to do whatever I want right now, because I know that I have these people to fall back upon. So see, I would say that I just told you that I'm 38 years old and I'm fairly young, but I've had my share of challenges and difficulties around. And when I talk about, saying that I'm successful, being successful or being a failure doesn't mean that you're earning a lot of money or you have a lot of degrees. For me, a success was always, a constant growth in things I love. So whatever I love to do, if I'm happy I'm doing it, that's success for me. I don't like to fail in things, but I have. So I have had a failed marriage, and I think that has struck onto my head, because when you fall in love and when you plan to do a love marriage, you think that it's going to work. And from a family where there has been love marriages around and they've worked, my grandparents celebrated their 50th anniversary, my parents are celebrating their 30th, so there it's been a beautiful, all my buas have love marriages. And so I felt somehow that really brought me back. For those 2-3 years I had a different journey, and then I dedicated my life towards my children, and they actually got me out of it. And that's when I realized that things fail even when you give your 100%. Even if you feel that you're not wrong, things will fail. And sometimes both sides may be correct and things will fail. And it's something you just have to, adjust to and move forward. Because if you keep getting stuck into it, then your life and life of people around you will never grow. And I've understood that, and that has actually made me learn a few things in life on, living life each day as it comes. I now don't like to think of the future. I think aaj ye kara, enough tha, acha tha. I made few people smile, I did my best at my work, I delivered a few babies, my children have completed their homework, my day is done. That's how I like to live now. I don't like to plan too many things. and that has changed me. So it's okay, I feel. Sometimes things happen and it's all right. So, the first lesson I would actually tell you everyone is that no matter what kind of family you are born to, there will be never a shortcut for hard work. You'll still have to work as much hard as possible to live the life you want to live. So even if you're born with a silver spoon, as people tell you, you will still have to have that hard work to take it further. That's something which I've learned from the beginning, and that's what my parents actually taught me. I was never given special privileges, that a driver will go and drop me to school. I used a normal school van to go. Even during my post graduation, I was given the least amount of pocket money. I would tell you 3,000 rupees a month, and out of which 800 rupees was my phone bill, and rest was all the food. So by 25th of the month, those 5 days, I could never buy anything, not even an ice cream, and I would just wait. So I think parents also have to balance it, and they've done it well. So understanding your privilege and using it the right way is very important. You can't just show off that, oh, I'm being born to a privileged family and I can get away with everything. That doesn't happen. Second thing I feel is, every step is a learning journey, and sometimes you don't know what's going to happen next. So you have to just take it in and learn from it. Because if I felt that, oh, my life would have been perfect, I would be living in Bombay right now and, doing something else. But that didn't happen. So I'm back to Agra, but now I'm feel that I have done the best in my circumstances. So we have to understand our circumstances and grow in them. Third important thing which I actually tell everyone is, we will keep rising and falling, and there will be a lot of peer pressure around us. You should always walk your own path, no matter what anyone tells you. Don't let people's opinion matter to you or affect your aspirations, because some people can be cruel, I feel. And especially when you're having a bad phase, just don't give up on yourself. I would just say that, Niharika, your journey is going to be tough, but you're going to do it well. Because I think I don't want to change the journey which I've lived. I have loved every moment of whatever difficulties I've faced, including having a premature baby. I think that phase also was very difficult for me, seeing my child in a NICU for months, and then my child went through physical therapy for walking, for talking, and now he's perfectly all right. But I don't think I want to change anything, because those instances actually make you who you are, and that's what has shaped me today. I'm more passionate in what I do, and I'm more considerate towards other people when they're having a tough time. So I know what it feels like, because I've been on that side. If I could go back to my life, I don't think I want to undo anything, but yes, I would love to live my college days again. They were like a lot of fun. I actually, when you shift from out of your house and go and stay in a hostel, it's a different experience. Friends are cooking for you, and you're making those late night coffees, you're going for movies. Maybe that carefree phase of life I would want to live again for a few days. So yeah, so as I was telling you that I've worked with a lot of young girls, and I have a lot of small schools in slum areas under me. And through my NGO, we go celebrate a lot of festivals with them. Like we go celebrate Diwali, we'll celebrate Christmas, and we're going to help them with school furniture and all those things. And I've seen the challenge even those parents face to educate those girls. And a good thing about them is most of them are trying to educate their girls. And whenever I go and meet them, I just tell them that you need not, come first, but you have to study and you have to finish your schooling, because education is something which will help you stand on your 2 feet. And education is something which will help you make your own decisions. Unless and until a girl is not educated or a woman is not educated, she will not be allowed to make decisions in the house. So education has to be pushed further, and that's my first priority to do it in my small city here, to have 100% education in underprivileged children, and that's what we are trying. Second important thing I always tell them is about hygiene. Because most of our illnesses which we are facing right now are related to hygiene, which we did not follow when we were younger. Like, and when I talk to you about cervical cancer is directly related to menstrual health hygiene. So if you've not followed hygiene during your menstruation, and if you've not changed your pads regularly, if you've not had a bath during your menstruation because of all those taboos which happen, you are more likely to get cervical cancer when you get older. So education also around health has to happen at this age. So all girls between the age of 9 to 11 should be educated for their health, because once you start talking to them about brushing your teeth twice a day, washing your hair every other day, and making them understand the importance, they'll go and tell their parents, they'll go and tell people around them, and that might create a mass movement which is needed. And that's how I want to go ahead, making small cities, small villages, underprivileged families understand that it does not take money to keep yourself hygienic. It does not take money. It will just need a little bit of motivation to educate your children. There are a lot of associations which are helping in education of girls or even education of boys, and you just have to get those families motivated to send them to school. And that's very, very important, as all of us around here, to bring education on top. So, what I actually do is I have a small NGO, and we have around 65 members, where every other month we do a menstrual hygiene awareness drive to smaller areas in Agra. We would distribute them sanitary pads, soaps, and shampoos, and and give talks in those villages to for hygiene, for women's health, etc. Second important thing which we do is every Saturday of the first Saturday of the month, we go to this village called Patholi, and we do free health checkups for all people around them. So a free physician, gynac checkup is being done, so to spread awareness around health. Third thing which we do, a lot of things we do is around the Save the Girl Child. So we run rallies around all over Agra. Now we've started doing them all over India, because my team has now broadened, and I have people in Indore, Bombay, Delhi, Mumbai, Pune, a lot of places. And so first week of every January, we come together wherever we are, and we raise awareness. We give a lot of articles in media to make people understand about why the sex ratio is altering and how we have to work towards this sex ratio, why our girls are not getting educated. And then especially on working towards environment, we have now started in smaller hospitals, giving one plant to every child born in your hospital. So that drive also has started in Agra, and a lot of hospitals have incorporated it. If you come to Agra and see, all those meetings which we have with doctors, like those CMEs or medical education meetings, nobody gives us flowers now. We always give each other potted plants. And that small change is also coming up to make people understand about the environment. We're also now focusing towards making people understand what sustainability is. People have to be consciously made aware of helping the environment, and it's not just a big deal. It's small things which you can actually incorporate in your day-to-day life. You can recycle your clothes. Like, I wear my mom's clothes, why buy new? You can just change and exchange from your friends. Reduce the food waste which happens in your house, rainwater harvesting. These are things which you can actually do. Carry your own bag, don't use plastic bottles. And I think these small changes may help us after 10 years, may not give us an immediate effect, but maybe our next generation will have it better if we now start doing this. Because you can see how the environment is going haywire. You can see the extreme heat levels, especially in Agra. Now we are almost at 46 degrees right now. And that's all because we've been playing with the environment. And that's something which has to be taught from the younger most to the older most. So what we do is now we've started giving them recycled copies. So, bigger schools will donate their copies, half used books. We'll bind them so that they look like new, and then distribute it to underprivileged children. So that way paper wastage is a lot less. All our schools now don't use plastic bags. We have given them jute bags, so they carry their books in their jute bags wherever they come. All their pencils are now seed pencils, and I feel very, very thankful that someone came up with that idea, because even if they throw that pencil, I hope one plant grows wherever they throw it. So it's smaller things, and we now have started giving schools to provide water in school, so that children don't carry plastic bottles around, and they get fresh water whenever they need in schools. Schools have to be green areas, so that has been stressed upon. I run schools which are very, very small, like 2 classroom based schools. So we also have given them those water harvesting tanks, so they can put and harvest water. So small changes in educating smaller schools, and I feel those schools actually accept it well, and they understand the importance. And we're now going towards bigger schools. Bigger schools, it's much easier because they already understand it. And most of Agra schools are bringing that change, and I feel it's actually heartening to see that people are working towards the environment. See, when people talk about sustainability, people think, oh, we'll have to sacrifice so much to become sustainable. And it's not that. Small things, small changes you can make in your life. I would not say I'm 100% living a sustainable life, but I do make conscious choices. I try and avoid anything to everything in plastics in my house. So we carry our own glass bottles wherever we go, and my children carry their steel bottles wherever they go. I recycle all my clothes. I wear my mom's clothes. My children will wear my clothes, so my dupatta will become a frock next year for my daughter. So somehow avoid spending too much, because whenever you're spending and buying new clothes, there are some carbon footprints which you are leaving when those clothes are being made. So some conscious small efforts have to be done. We use solar electricity wherever possible, even in our hospital and in our house. So, and we share rooms. So yes, my daughter has her own room, I have my own room, but the air condition will be only in one room in the night. So let's limit to few things, and I think these are things which all of us can do. Carpool your school. So if your children are going to school, just carpool and go in one car. So small changes, I think all of us can bring in, because it's important to actually now be consciously aware that environment has to be something to be taken care of. So when, I have been asked this question a lot of times from a lot of people, that how do you keep smiling throughout the day? Because as an obstetrician, I do all the night duties also, because as you know, babies always like to come in the night. So that's also something which I have to do, because that's my job. But energy comes from within, when you that's what I had told you when I was starting this interview. If you love the things you do, then you never feel drained out. I really enjoy my work. I actually love being with my patients. I interact with them, I know them personally, I spend time with them. So that two-way relationship actually gives me energy to go back to work, because I know there's a patient waiting for me who's smiling, and who knows that the doctor is going to have a chat with me, and we'll enjoy, and it'll not be like your normal routine checkup which you go for to the hospital for. Second thing I feel is that my parents are responsible for bringing me up that way, that I have understood that I can do a lot of things at one go. Sometimes people get bogged down by multitasking, or maybe not multitasking, but doing too many things in a day. But I have a very good team, and with me it's like that. Whatever I do, my team also has the same passion in doing it. So if I've told my team that I have to go to the school to do a Christmas celebration, and I'm stuck at work doing a delivery, my whole team will go and do it the way I want to do it. So it doesn't change that I have to be there, because I have a good backup from my parents and from my team. So thirdly, I also try and make this world to see that change, because I want this world to be better for our children. And I want to sensitize people so that maybe later my children will have it easier. And that's actually something which actually keeps me going, because I want people to understand that we have to have green spaces in the city for our kids to go play. We have to have that hygienic areas, good schools, sensitive schools, people spreading kindness around. And past 5 to 10 years, I have seen a massive shift in the mindset of people, and people have started being, losing that kind touch in them. And I think we have to bring that back. Maybe all of us are running in that rat race of earning money, having bigger houses, or buying diamond jewelry. But I think that has to stop. And it's time to bring that change. Oh, I have a very simple vision, so I'm a gynecologist, and so I would like to retire when I'm 50. And I would actually now hope to have that much financial support to actually do what I love after that. And I'll shift whatever I'm doing from now after that, and I want to open a nice, huge area for stray animals. And that has been my dream since childhood, because I would tell you, as I was telling you, I never wanted to become a doctor because I wanted to become a veterinarian. And in a small city, if you tell that you want to become that, kutte ka doctor banegi. So I want to go live that dream. And I really want to work hard for these next 15, 20 years, have adequate funds to open a nice, luxurious stray animal home. And I hope to have help from all 76 women on this platform for this. So the one thing which I do for myself is I take time out for painting. So I like to enjoy that break to give myself time to think what I want in the future. I also like to take, short breaks every 3 to 4 months. Me and my 2 kids, and we'll just go and stay in one hotel, enjoy room service, do a pool bath, and then come back home refreshed in those 36, 48 hours you're spending. I like to read books whenever I get time, and that's also something which I enjoy. I hate cooking, so if somebody tells me to cook, that gives me a lot of stress. And in this COVID 2 years, I think I have cooked everything possible. I can cook a good 4-star meal for you if you come. Before that, I would be like only Maggie and tea. Now I can cook a nice biryani for you. But yes, as being a single mother and a doctor and, toddler parent, it's difficult to take time out for yourself. And I feel I don't give myself adequate time. I hardly get time to, consciously go out and meet friends, though I do try to meet them whenever possible. But yes, it's difficult. And I feel maybe this phase will go over once my kids are maybe more than the age of 10 years and, they can be independent. Right now, both of them are dependent on me. And I know that I want to take time out for myself. I would like to go and do some exercise, join a gym and everything, but maybe after a few years. So one thing, I'm going to do that for sure. I'm building a small house for myself and my kids. So one thing I always wanted to do is have a house full of cats. And that's going to happen soon because I am myself an animal lover and I really enjoy having animals around me. And my parents don't like cats. So I'm waiting for my house. And that's one thing which will happen, I think maybe in another 3 years or so, a house full of cats.